Path Media. I was a minimum wage movie theater usher that made good and became a top earner in my network marketing company. Now, after 16 plus years in the profession, I'm finally teaching myself how to leverage the internet with online marketing and social media marketing to continue to grow and expand my business. My name is Ronnie Cruz, and this is Path of the Network Marketer.
All right, welcome back to the show. Thanks for tuning in. Today, we're going to talk about daily publishing. I know. It's a point of contention for a lot of people, and I get it. Going into daily publishing, especially for something long form like podcasting or YouTube, it's tough. Well, so let me take that back. I know it's tough for short form as well because I've had as much difficulty, if not more difficulty, in publishing short form every day. So it's not an easy thing to do because, well, we're just not used to it, right? Again, it's moving from content consumer to content creator. It's kind of a big jump, a big leap, in the mindset between the two. And so thinking that you have to publish every day, it's overwhelming. It's overwhelming. I want you to understand though, there's a lot of benefits, and we've talked about that before in the past, right? The benefit of consistently posting and publishing content, especially on a daily basis, puts you out there. Right, like showing up every day, it shows people that you're out there making it happen, and that you have something to offer. So it grows your audience, and also provides continues to provide value to your existing audience. And of course, then you're building these assets, right? You have a backlog of content that you can show people. Like, I have this much experience and this much content because I've been doing it, and I have a level of expertise. But that's really where this conversation today is going, because obviously we all know the benefits of consistently publishing. The ancillary benefit is that you have to grow into that, right? You have to you eventually and inevitably become an expert in whatever it is that you're sharing and the content that you're providing, the value that you're providing. Because if you're forcing yourself to publish every day, you got to fill that vacuum, right? You got to come up with stuff, and the only way to come up with stuff is to expand your knowledge base and really dive into the thing that the value that you want to provide on your platforms. And so because I really started to think about this because I was having a conversation with a good friend of mine recently. His name is Michael DaCosta. He just launched a YouTube channel, and I'll share that with you guys in the show notes of this episode. But he was like, man, how do you come up with content for every day? And this is long form, right? And I was like, honestly, it was tough maybe for the first couple of weeks. But again, I had to do it. Like I had to, in order to come up with that content, I had to expand into new territories. I had to expand my knowledge base, and as a result, I expanded myself, my own capabilities. Of course, I came into this podcast. I launched this podcast with the notion that I was going to learn online marketing. So I was already on that track of expansion. But inevitably, whatever it happens to be for you, if you're in health and wellness, for example, if your company does nutritional supplements or some kind of health and wellness product, you're going to want to really dive into that so that you can provide value outside of just sharing, your products, your goods, your services. And that's important too. However, you want to provide more content than that, or otherwise you really have a hard time building your presence and your audience online. So it forces you, publishing every day forces you to really expand beyond your current, skill sets, your current knowledge base, and therefore expands you, right? It's an expansion outside of your comfort zone, and it's really, really important to do. So you'll eventually, and again, inevitably become an expert in the thing, in the value that you're providing. Very, very important. And so content and ideas for that content will just come pouring out of you eventually. The other thing that it does, and this is like the really, really important and very, very ancillary benefit, is that it creates a mindset of growth, right? Because you're constantly publishing and you're constantly coming up with new things, you're not necessarily coming up with new content, but you're reforming your ideas. Of course, you're taking in new input. I'm getting inspired and still expanding my skill sets and the things that I'm learning about my knowledge base from other experts and from people that are my role models. And so it's like, it creates this mindset of constant growth. And that's so important, right? Like to me, well, I think in general, it's not about the actual outcome. Outcomes are great, right? Outcomes are the mile markers that along the journey that allow you to kind of take perspective and see how much progress you've made, and then maybe see what you can adjust moving forward. That's why outcomes and having goals is important. However, it really is about the process. It really is about the journey. And while we're still above ground, right? I don't know. You might believe something differently, but I feel like, yeah, well, there's so much life to discover. Why not continue to expand and have a growth mindset, right? A fixed mindset for me leads. A fixed. Okay, let me try to process what I'm trying to say here, because this is a good idea. A fixed mindset, I think, is a road that leads faster into the ground, as opposed to a growth mindset will really actually keep you going, and it keeps you alive, it keeps you stimulated, and it'll continue to allow you to have a thirst to be above ground, right? So like I think having a growth mindset is really, really important, and is one of the most important benefits of publishing content every day. It's an ancillary benefit. Man, that's a hard word to pronounce. Ancillary benefit for sure, but it is a benefit nonetheless. So publish content every day, whether it's short form, whether it's long form, and really, take the time to dive into whatever it is that you want to dive into, and the value that you want to provide with that content, and it'll allow you to continue to expand and then become this never-ending wellspring of ideas for that content. But also it gives you that level. It'll create a mindset of growth for you, right? You'll always have a thirst for more, right? And it's a healthy thirst, right? It's not like trying to fill an emptiness kind of thirst. It's a healthy thirst for just discovery and curiosity and expansion. So that's my message for today. Again, if you're hesitant, if you're nervous about publishing content, I'm telling you, there's so many benefits. There are so many benefits to publishing content every day, daily content, and outside of from a pure marketing standpoint, there's a lot of benefits to yourself that you'll find and get out of publishing content every day. Okay, so that's it. Sorry, I'm driving this one into the ground. Anyways, I hope that makes sense. I appreciate you tuning in. We'll catch you tomorrow with a fresh new episode. So until then, be well, be safe. We'll see you in the next episode.